We were just talking about the Rembrandt House, your project, but there's something else. There's Time Tunnel. How did that came to be?
Well, it kind of I started thinking about it way back when I did a tour with Laurent Garnier many years ago called Music Tour, and the idea then was that we would just go into venues that just played techno music, and we would play any type of music that we thought of and wanted to play, just to kind of see what the reaction would be. And it turned out that actually the whole tour, about 7 or 8 dates, was complete success. People danced unconditionally. It didn't matter, you know, people came prepared to just listen to music. And so since then, I've been thinking that perhaps maybe it would be interesting to not only have that, but then create a night that was almost like a program that the people could kind of expect every hour or every so often something completely different and completely new. And I thought I was thinking about examples of where that could happen, and I thought TV shows are pretty much like that, especially science fiction TV shows. And it was either between a TV show called Lost in Space or Time Tunnel. And so I decided, Time Tunnel was interesting because from a production standpoint, we can create this tunnel, and I can kind of direct people's attention to this tunnel, and what comes out of it is a complete surprise. Nobody really knows what's going to come out of it. So that's the route that we took, and I started it in Paris about 2 years ago, but this one here is the first one outside of France.
What are the visitors gonna see? What are they gonna hear? Because expect the unexpectable, but what can we expect?
Well, this is part of the idea. I don't really want to say exactly what will come out of it, but each hour has a theme, and each theme we play it out in theatrical ways, and sound and video and lighting. So it's a pretty big production, but it's 6 and 7 hours of where every hour it can be any time in place and space. So we can go to the year 150 BC to Mesopotamia. We can go to the year 5595 to some planet. We can go uh, so far into time that numbers don't exist. And so I create an outline, a schedule for what happens every 60 minutes, and yeah, and that's so it's great. I mean, it's you have an opportunity to be able to hear a lot of music in the 6 and 7 hours. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of music that one hears during one of these events. Yeah.
It sounds really magical.
It's fun, actually. I mean, if I was, I imagine if I were like 18, 19 years old, and someone had made something like this, it probably would have had an impact. I would have probably thought about music much differently, maybe even more diverse. Maybe I would have, you know, you know, and so yeah, it's just really enjoyable to create and to present. It's a lot of work though.
Because how do you create a 10,000 BC experience?
You have to use your imagination. At that far, you have to imagine that everything around us is probably gone. Uh, and we are different, and the way that we perceive music is different. So you have to um, think about how to make that impression. So even the sound of music is not exactly the same, or maybe it's not even music at all. Maybe it's something completely different. You know, maybe it's something that you feel, just frequencies. I don't know, but you have to really try to imagine and dream up these ideas. And so the whole night is based on science fiction, uh, time travel, and and every 60 minutes, there is a theme that introduces where we are in time and space.
Let's travel in our minds to 2050. How do you think techno is changed by then?
Um, probably, probably not by much. We'll still have our favorite. We'll still have things. We'll still listen to Strings of Life by 2050. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll. I think that, you know, a lot of young people today will live at that time, and uh, the classics will probably always be there in some shape and form. But um, by 2050, we probably will have been through some really difficult times, and probably, hopefully, we will have recovered by then. And so there may be a new sense of of uh, of self worth, I suppose, mid century maybe. It really depends on technology. It really depends on the how the world is spinning. What we may want to have in terms of music. If you think about the '60s and how the world was really changing, and they were really using music to say things politically and socially, it could be the case that we will probably go through that type of phase. And then afterwards, where it then became very, very commercial and very predictable, we'll probably go through that as well. Um, these things seem to happen roughly every 30, 35 years. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it could be, I don't think it's going to be drastically different until maybe towards the end of the century.
Because then everything is going to change.
Well, because we will want it to change, because we like the end of the 1800s and the end of and the latter part of the last century. You there the mindset to get ready for the next time, the next after the century, uh, is unavoidable. So people will want new things. People will want to think about what their future life will be after that time. It has an effect. And so music probably will be one thing that will be swept up in that movement.
Exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And I wish I could live that far to see it. Um, but I mean, in from what I've seen in my research, it's always the case that when the numbers change, so do the minds, or as you lead up to it, the intensity increases. So, household goods to furniture to music to food, people are the general, well, a popular subject will be what tomorrow will be like and the things that we'll have. And music, that was very much the case in the, after 1975, all the way up until the year 2000. It increased in more and more. So,
I think it's wonderful how you study music, how you study and do research before you make music. You always seem to push the limit. You always seem to want to try to cross boundaries. Why? Why do you keep on pushing yourself to the limit? Keep on changing your music. Is it because you get bored otherwise?
yes, I mean to be to be frank, in a way, not maybe bored is not the word, but if I want to feel that I have something relevant to say, I have to. I'm convinced that I need to speak about subjects that I would normally are interested in. I mean, in order to be able to do this until the end of my life, I don't want to have the pressure of trying to make music for a 21-year-old kid. I don't. I probably won't understand that at the age of 90. So, so I'm looking at it realistically. I mean, I can make music more comfortably if I'm approaching subjects that I naturally are interested in. And so science fiction, film, cinema, all these things are things that I would be interested in it if I wasn't a musician. And so it makes it much easier working. You know, I made it a point to make that transition because I knew that I wanted to make music for as my career. So I didn't want to kind of feel out of place. I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. I know that I probably won't DJ until that age. I probably won't want to, but at least making music, I think I could probably do that. As long as I can physically, yeah, sure.
Um, is there anything else I wanted to ask you? Um, I don't think so. I feel a little bit dazzled. Well, dazzled is not. I mean, it's so nice to speak with you about all the processes you're into, the way you make music, in a time where everybody can make music. Almost everybody wants to make music. Everybody wants to be a DJ, and sometimes it feels like everybody can become a DJ producer. In a time where making hits is so important, you're like a real artist. You're like thinking about what you're making, about the message in it.
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit. I mean, this general idea that everyone can make electronic music or music in general. It's true. Yeah, you can. Technically, you can make it. But I think that the more life you live, the more things you can have. Reasons to be able to use music to describe. And so. Um, this is the way that I feel. I mean, the more places I go, the more things I experience, the more material I have in order to be able to use music to be able to to say that. So, um, I think it's not easy. I think it was never easy. I still struggle with it now. I mean, trying to find the right notes and the right uh, chords and things like that, and the right pieces of equipment and how to hook it up. And uh, it's not easy. And DJing is not easy when you're dealing with a room of 1,000 people, and all those 1,000 people are different and they're strangers. And you have a certain amount of time in order to be able to kind of bring them all together. It's not easy, and the technology may be easy to put the music together, but there are many other aspects of DJing that we never talk about, and
Like,
that's exhuming a certain amount of confidence from the people that you're playing for, and taking those people somewhere, not just letting the music play, but using the transitions in order to be able to take the people somewhere by control, not by coincidence, but by control. Reading the audience very well so that you know where they want to go is something that you can't buy. You can't buy on software. No one's going to. There's no instruction book on that. You have to experience it, um, and I mean, there's many other things that I think DJs, older DJs and experienced DJs know, but that it takes an experienced DJ to ask another experienced DJ to get these type of answers. So if you're a journalist and you love music, you may not know to ask me certain questions about, uh, you got 15 minutes left in your set. What do you do? Hmm? Older DJs, experienced DJs, we know what to do. We grab the music that we had already placed aside because you know that in the last 15 minutes, you know, you better play something that's gonna, top it off. And so you have been thinking about this for hours, and you had been working towards it for hours. So, so I think that uh, in all, there's still a lot of things, you know, to learn. There's a lot of things about our industry that are quite special. Once we get beyond the normal topics of vinyl versus CD and all these type of things and EDM versus this, once we get far beyond that and we kind of push those things aside and we look at what we've created, I think it's very easy to see how special the genre is, much different than any other genre that's ever existed, I think. Um, because there's so much in it that says something about the future than the past. It's different from jazz, different from rock. Electronic music is really themed and directed towards the future, whatever the future may be. And so, with that, any and everything is just about possible. So, and and so, I mean, that's just my opinion on journalism and electronic music. Really, the people asking mainly the questions are the ones that have the experience to know what to ask. And then there's the aspect of knowing the person who's actually playing the music for you. Who is this person, and why do I keep wanting to come see this person time and time and time again? He plays great music, or she plays great music, but who is this person? Do we even care? I don't know. What does this person believe? Do they believe the same thing that I believe? Because I like their music, but we don't ask who this person is. And so, just to give you some idea that things are still un, un explored. And, I mean, we enjoy dancing. I enjoy playing dance music for people, but there are other hours of the day. Hmm? So, and I would love to have this music in the other hours of the day. And so this is, what I think really fills most of my time.
Thank you so much. It was very inspiring.
Okay, great. Thank you.